So, how? Let's start with you. Tell me what's the difference between you and then what I've probably already seen or heard.
I, well, if you search for flat Earth, you're going to end up at the Flat Earth Society, and the
Right.
Flat Earth Society is what Google will serve you, and that's just a bunch of nonsense. They're gonna show you a solar system with all these planets and a flat disk floating in space, and
Right.
that's not what any of us believe. That's nonsense. That's to make you laugh at flat Earth. If you Google images of flat Earth, you're going to see pictures like this. That's not what any flat Earther believes. It's all nonsense. If you watch the Netflix thing, Behind the Curve, it's really a deception. The movie is completely misrepresents everything that was done, and nobody in the movie actually thought that anything proved that the Earth was a globe. So I'll just give you a real quick basis of what flat Earth is.
Okay.
So think about a puddle. A puddle is where water accumulates and the low spot in the land, right?
Right.
And so if we expand that to a pond is the same thing, just bigger, and a lake is even bigger. And the land that surrounds the edge of the water is just the land that's higher than the water surface.
Right.
And if there was islands in the lake, spots of land that were higher than the surface, those would be islands.
Mm-hmm.
And now think of the whole world. The whole world is a giant pond, and it has islands, which are all the continents, and the
Mm-hmm.
shoreline is Antarctica. And
Mm-hmm.
Antarctica is the highest land on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
If you go anywhere in the world on a boat, you get off the boat and walk into town. But if you go to Antarctica, the land is 200 feet over your head because we live in the Antarctic basin.
Okay.
The Earth is 70% water, and water at rest, large bodies of water at rest lay flat. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I follow you. I follow you. But why is there no explanation for what's beyond the ice walls?
Okay, so in 1957, why all the conflicts in the world were happening, before environmentalism was even a word, all
Mm-hmm.
of the nations signed the Antarctic Treaty.
Right.
And it says nobody can go there. We must protect the penguins and the ice, right? We have to protect the penguins and the ice. No one can drop a cigarette butt down there.
Right.
But we can deforest the Amazon. We can do all sorts of stuff. And that can't even be questioned by you or me or a corporation until the year 2041. What are they hiding?
I mean, now for the government hiding stuff, that wouldn't be nothing new, but just for this will have to have been known since the beginning of men, or would you say not? Because I just find it hard to
That's a great
believe
question.
all these guys to keep it this tight lip. You know what I'm saying? Like
I got you. So
I don't
this
know
is
if I have that much faith in the human race altogether.
I definitely don't either. And I believe that the people that we see running the earth, those are the puppets of the real people that are running the earth. Where are those real people? Who they are? I don't know. Maybe they come from beyond Antarctica. But I don't believe that the governments of the world figured it out until like the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they figured it out and they're like, all right, we need to keep this quiet because we won't be able to control the people. If people know that we're at the center of creation and not just a random speck in an infinite vacuum, they might not listen to us anymore. And that's when the takeover happened. The takeover really happened in the early 1900s when everyone on Earth knew the Earth was flat.
Mm-hmm.
And they changed it. They were taught in America in the 1920s, all of the schools taught flat Earth.
Right.
And they introduced the heliocentric centric system after that. We found a woman in Croatia. She said in the 1930s, all the schools taught flat Earth in Croatia. So right sometime in the early 1900s, that's when they came up with the complete, helio nonsensical system.
So I can say I'm still not quite following. So what's the big secret behind the ice walls? Was it 1950 they found the ice walls and saw it was paradise and it was like we can't let everybody overflow it? Or like what's stopping me or you from financing our own expedition, even though we're not supposed to, and go to Antarctica ourselves and try to.
So a lot of stuff. So even if we had unlimited money and resources, and they would even let us, but they won't. They'll stop us by force.
Right. Okay. I can understand that.
So they won't let us. But even if you do, when you get to Antarctica, it's dark out there. Right. GPS doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Compasses don't work. Mm-hmm. Where are you going? You got to go thousands and thousands of miles into unknown territory. No way to guide yourself. And what are you going to do? You're going to crash into a mountain at best. And so again, exploring Antarctica, if they allowed us, would be extremely difficult, but they won't allow us. If you want to do a scientific exploration in Antarctica, you can file permits. They cost you somewhere between a couple $100,000 and a couple $1 million. You will get denied, and they keep your permit application fee.
Okay. All right. So
they're hiding something. And again, we're going to talk about some crazy shit. And we're going to talk about stuff that makes sense. The crazy shit is all the ball model stuff. The stuff that makes sense is going to be flat Earth. But when we talk about anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica or above the highest we've gone ourselves, that's all speculation. Happy to talk about it, but it's a lot easier to talk about what's here under our feet. Go ahead.
So so I'm gonna follow you as far as like the top level people controlling the puppets. But just as far as when you get back down to, okay, now we switching it that the Earth is now flat. So all these people that work for NASA all day, who's monitoring these satellite systems, everybody who work at the Hubble telescope. So you telling me they all are sworn to some type of blood oath secrecy? So no matter what they see when they go up there, no matter what the Red Bull guy saw when he went up on the balloon, you got to say you saw this.
All right. So one thing at a time. Let's talk about satellites. First, NASA is the largest consumer of helium and owns most of the big helium companies in the world. They launched thousands of these satellites that weigh 8,000 pounds. They go up for over a year and they're floating on balloons, but they don't tell us about it. There's tens of thousands of these things up there. These are on balloons. They're not falling around the Earth.
Is the space station a balloon? The International Space Station?
So the International Space Station is, I don't believe that there's even anything up there, except we do see a light that I've tracked it myself. And if you actually do the math on how fast that light is moving in the sky, it makes zero sense. It makes no sense that I can see it go over me in Connecticut, but then people in New York, upstate New York, don't see it because it would be going over them. So what we're seeing in the sky, again, we don't know what it is. It's a luminary that orbits, that circles the Earth, kind of like the wandering stars, which we now call planets, and we don't know what it is. But if you talk about the space station and what its actual size is, it makes absolutely no sense. The space station is about the size of a 747, which is almost the size of a football field, okay? And if when you take it up to cruising altitude where a 747 goes, it's the size of a pencil eraser held at arm's length. You with me? It's a small little dot in the sky when you see a 747 flying, right?
Right, yeah.
If I doubled the distance, do you think I could see that 747? Absolutely not.
Right.
It's already went from a giant football field to the size of a pencil eraser. And if I doubled the height, you couldn't see it. Well, the space station is 50 times higher. 50. And we can see it with our naked eye. That's scientifically impossible. So that light we see in the sky is not what they're telling us.
Okay, that might be something I have to look up. I didn't know you could see the space station with your naked eye.
Yeah. Go. You have you can on your phone you can download a ISS tracker, and when it's near you, it'll let you know, and then you could watch it. And what you'll see is it's as bright as a piece of the sun, right? And how is that thing reflecting light back to Earth perfectly? If it was reflecting light, it would be flickering. It wouldn't be that bright, and it's complete and total nonsense. And if you think about satellites are falling around the spinning Earth.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I hear about that a lot.
They're falling around the Earth. Some of them are staying over the same spot on Earth because they're falling at the same rate as the Earth is spinning. It's nonsense. All of these satellites are up there. They're all working perfectly, and they're doing that while the Earth is spinning, twirling, swirling, and flying in 4 different directions at once at unimaginable speeds. But those satellites are able to keep up with the current turning and curving and swirling of the Earth. Makes no sense.
I mean, I'm not a scientist or anything, but just from basic school, they tell you it's the gravitational pull keeping everything, close and tight knit.
Let's talk about gravity for a second then.
Okay.
So right now, this is showing our solar system. The Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. It's falling around the Earth, orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour. It's chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour, right? And all the other planets are keeping up. So they're all on the same plane, keeping up with the sun as it's twirling around the universe. And that entire system's moving sideways, right? All of those motions are happening in lakes that are perfectly calm like this. We can build stone sculptures that are balancing perfectly because they're not moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly calm lakes. If you had a big wide bowl of water, a big, tray of water in a car going 100 miles an hour on a straight road, fine. Now the car starts to take a turn, that water's sloshing right out of that tray. Okay. This
right, but the car have his own, his own gravity inside the car, holding the stuff to the ground. Basically, from what you've been taught in school and shit like that.
Yeah, so you've been taught nonsense in school. So and so was I, by the way. So don't take it personally.
Oh no, that's all.
There's a thing called the three body problem. So which NASA has. So you have a ball, and in a supercomputer, they could say, all right, I got this ball, it's this big, it has this much gravity, and I can put this other ball, it's smaller, and I'm going to put it in orbit around it, and that computer model will work beautifully. And they could predict where that thing would be at any moment in time in 100 years in the future. Perfect. Then they add a third body that has its own gravity, and they put it into orbit around one of those first two bodies, and the entire model falls apart and never repeats itself. It just becomes a chaotic mess. We have like over 80 bodies in our solar system alone. The galaxy, everything has, countless trillions of bodies, and everything repeats like a perfect clock, right? While we're spinning and twirling and whirling and flying, and we're a billion miles from where we were last year, if you go out tonight, mark where the stars are at whatever time, and then next year at the same time go out, those stars are in the exact same position. If this was true, they wouldn't be in the same position 2 nights in a row, let alone decades, years, and centuries. But the stars never move.
Okay. I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna walk with you. So just for a little bit of clarification. So as far as I don't know if you're familiar with Area 51 and Bob Lazar, but what's to stop anybody who's aware of the truth? Nobody's ever, want to break out and be like, let me tell the people what's really going on. I used to work for so and so. Like, I just find it hard to believe that humans are so, no NDA or no type of paperwork can keep, somebody from keeping the
I agree, but
forever.
The people that are at the top that know this have no reason ever to talk out, even on their deathbed. And the people that are coerced into it, they have shit laying over them, and they've signed contracts, blood contracts, that they will never, ever speak of. They'll never, ever let out the truth. And, the elite families that look at us as useless eaters, they have no reason to tell us. It would take away their dynasty, their power over ruling the world. There's no reason.
Right.
But with that said, there are people that are speaking out. There's former NASA employees that are speaking out. There's people that worked in Antarctica that are speaking out. There's airline pilots that are speaking out. We have interviews with them. The problem is it's just not going to land on the mainstream media. It's going to come on shows like this. And, if you try to find this stuff online, it's very difficult to find it. But I'm going to show you guys a way to find all of this information and make up your own mind. Don't believe anything that I say. I'm just some guy on the internet here. Right. I'm going to show you some doors, and it's up to you whether you want to look through them.
Okay. Before we walk through these doors, can you give me a purpose?
Like, what's reason the overall, that they're lying.
The main purpose, or all the stuff going on with the world. What's the big?
It's all about control. Mm-hmm. It's all about control. So they want to basically they're hiding the creator. They don't want you to know that you're not on a random speck flying through an infinite godless or distant god universe out of control, where an asteroid could take you out at any moment, where global warming is going to take you out, where nuclear bombs are going to take you out, which are also fake. They want you in fear, giving up your God-given rights, rather than knowing that we are at the center of creation, that we are powerful spiritual beings having a soul's journey here, and that nobody can take away our true natural rights. and unless we willingly give them away. That's why they always tell us what they're doing, and then people are too dumbed down to say no, which means they're saying yes, and they give away their rights. So when you wake up to the flat earth, you take your power back, and you don't want that.
So, okay. So once we get across the ice wall, is there any establishment? Like, is it the chosen people that's over there right now, or is it just total blocked off? Or is it like, because I'm a big believer that nobody
I don't know, man.
went to the moon and they say
Nobody went to the moon, right? We don't have to go there.
yeah, I believe that.
Okay, good for
But
you.
but one of the conspiracies that I heard surrounding it was maybe they went and saw something that they couldn't bring back. So is it like a secret society over there that's already, the elites can live over there in paradise, or is it just blocked off until we can find out how to control it?
As I said, anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is speculation, but man, do I love to speculate.
Okay.
Here's a map that some people think is the case, that we live here. This ring around us is Antarctica, and beyond Antarctica are other continents. Maybe they're paradises with another sun out there. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. I did a talk. You can find it on my YouTube channel, DITRH, which is the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, called The Outward Flow of Civilizations. And it talks about how the Mayans and the Aztecs, all these civilizations, advanced civilizations, disappeared. They may have flowed outwards with their sun when a new sun was born in the north and is now residing here, and it migrates in between our system. At one point, I have an app, which I want to show you, that'll show you how the flat earth works and show you how to find the information. So whenever you're ready, I can screen share with that. And but we can go a little farther first.
We can take a look at that.
You have screen sharing. Can you enable screen sharing?
Yeah. I never quite used it before, but I'm pretty sure it's not.
You'll figure it out. It can't be that hard.
Okay. Let's try that.
Well, you're mirroring my screen. That's not what we don't want that.
Okay.
Bail out of that. And you wanna enable screen sharing. You don't want to share my screen.
Oh, okay. I see share screen and then
enable guest to share screen. There we go. Got it. Don't touch.
All right. Take it over.
Let me just find it. Basic. Where is it? Where is my screen? No, don't want that. Hold on 1 second. Sorry about that, man.
No problem, dude.
Where is my iPhone? Maybe I'm not sharing the screen yet. Hold on. Sorry, 1 second. Ask me a question while I'm pulling this up.
All right. So, like I was saying about the moon thing, one of the conspiracies that I heard that I found quite compelling was that they went there and they saw something that they couldn't bring back, so they faked the footage. So that was like another thing going back to the keeping everybody quiet and keeping, what I'm saying, it's so I understand the elites of the elites, you know what I'm saying, but just even if I can't understand and keep people, you know what I'm saying, shut them down, all that, but I feel like there's some way somehow somebody will, and that's probably what you're going to show me, some more compelling evidence, because they put out more evidence that the world is round.
Well, that's not exactly true, because they put out a bunch of bullshit that the earth is a sphere, and there's zero proof of that, and we'll get into that. When I first heard about flat earth, I banned people from my social media for even suggesting that I look at it, because they're too stupid. And then I was forced to look, and I tried to prove the globe. And 6 years later, here I am, the host of the Flat Earth podcast, talking to people like you. I got an app that shows people how to find the flat earth and figure it out for themselves. So let me just show you. I'm going to take about 2 minutes and show you how the app works and how you can do it. So the sky is a perfect clock. It's not a beehive of wandering planets and stars. It's a perfect clock. And the way they deceived us is they're like, hey, we better make the clock go around twice a day so they don't figure out that it's actually the sky clock. So the sun laps the moon once a month. So it takes 28 days for the sun to lap the moon. And the phases change as it gets closer, as it gets farther, it gets full, but you can see the sun is catching up to the moon. Let's slow it down again, and I'm going to add the stars. The stars lap the sun only once a year. So they're going slightly faster. So right now the sun is in this constellation, and next month it'll be in this constellation.
Mm-hmm.
And next month the Pisces will catch up to it. So the sun marks the hours and days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months, and the stars keep track of the seasons and years. So I'll turn off the stars, and if I turn on the world time, it'll show you how time zones work. Right now, it's 4:30 in the morning in Eastern Australia.
Mm-hmm.
It's 8 p.m. in Johannesburg, South Africa.
All right.
And it's 1 o'clock here for me on the East Coast. 1:25 to be exact. So I'll turn that off. The compass at the flat Earth, the north is in the center, and any direction away from north is south. That's south. That's south. That's south. Anyway, away is south. East and west are circles. Now, if this is the magnetic north and I have a compass and my needle's pointing towards the north and I want to head east 90 degrees, I start going and I have to keep turning to the left to make sure my needle stays pointed towards the north. I can go east 90 degrees without changing my heading and come right back to where I started from. And people will say that's proof of the globe. Nope, that's proof you went around the center. That doesn't prove that the earth is flat. I can also go from, like, say, United States. I can go north, straight line. As soon as I pass the North Pole, I'm now heading south, even though I haven't turned, and I'm in Asia. I'm in Japan. And that doesn't prove the earth is flat, because you can do that on both. What you can't do on a flat earth is go from South America and pop up over in Australia, or from Johannesburg and pop up over in New Zealand, which you should be able to do on a globe, but nobody has ever done it. Billions of people have circumnavigated east and west. Many, same number, have gone across the north, but nobody's gone south and popped up on the other side, because the earth is flat. One last thing. If I hit the question mark, up come all the questions you're going to have. You're like, hey, where's the edge? Or, what about ships over the horizon? Or, why the lie, right? Why would they lie? Which we talked about a little bit. And if I click one of those, why the lie, up comes all the videos that Google will not share with you about why the lie. Watch the videos, make up your own mind. And then
what you mean they won't share as you, as far as it won't be in like the algorithm for Watch Next or something?
It won't show up. Yeah, it won't. These things won't show up. Like over here, this is like full-length documentaries. If I click that, this documentary down here, the one I have at the top right now, a Flat Earth 21, A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions by ODD Reality. If you search that by name and channel name, it doesn't show up until like 10 pages later. So they're not feeding you the information. This app will feed you all the information. If you Google Flat Earth and say, hey, 10 proofs that the earth is a ball, you're going to get a whole bunch of videos by, people like Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, and Bill, Degrassi Tyson. But all of those videos, National Geographic debunking the flat earth. Nope. All of them are in Debunking the Debunkers, where we take the video and we break it down and we show you how it's fake. There's also other stuff in here, mud floods on the bottom right there, biblical flat earth information, all sorts of stuff. I have it in different languages. The last thing is, if you think flat earth is stupid, the app is $2.99. Over here is the feed video day. Each day there's a new video, short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. I say, take the Flat Earth app challenge, watch a video every day for 2 weeks, and then you will know that you don't live on a spinning ball. And if you don't want to wait, you can hit this archive button and up come all of the videos from all of the other months. If you hit the archive button, people say, hey, I saw you on Brian's podcast, and I bought your stupid app for $2.99, and I didn't want to wait. So I hit the archive button and up come all of the videos from this month. And if I hit the little hamburger at the top, here are all the videos from the previous months. I haven't slept in 2 days. Holy crap, you've ruined my life. The earth is flat. Now what do I do with myself? Okay. So, and I have a challenge for your listeners, right? It's $2.99. You're buying me a half a beer. Okay. I'm not doing this for the money. I walked away from my own company where I made plenty of money to spread this good word. I have a Bitcoin. You know what a Bitcoin is, right?
Yeah. I just
Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. It's worth $28,000 today. I have a Bitcoin for any one of your listeners that could supply me one proof of the ball. Just one proof. And you can send it to me at info@theflatearthpodcast.com. But I'm telling you, don't send it to me before you hit the question mark, and make sure your question isn't answered in there, because it is. I guarantee it.
Okay,
All
let me
right.
see. Let me see real quick.
All right. So I'm going to
Is,
jump out of the app.
is my
We good?
question so what are the moon, stars, and the planet? What's the point? What's the purpose if they're not real? So they say the moon got the gravity, the sun got the energy. So if it's
Yeah.
not real, what is it? What's the purpose?
Let me
Like,
show
why
you.
isn't there
You
just
still
a
have the
light
app up,
bulb?
right? Yeah, let me just show you with the app one more thing. You see
Mhm.
the sun right now, the sun is over this outer yellow line. It's the height of our winter here in the inner north, but the outer southern lands have their summer because the sun over them. But every 6 months, the sun travels in between the tropics, and in June, it's all the way over this inner circle.
Mhm.
And that's when we have our summer, because the sun is closer and higher and it's warmer, and they outer southern lands have their winter at the same time. That's how that works. It has nothing to do with the tilt of the earth. Let me jump out of the app.
Okay, so I
Um,
guess what I want to ask you is I heard that doing my own research that it was possibly projections. The sun, the
the
moon, the
sun and
stars.
the
Yeah.
yeah, again, anything above us is very difficult
Okay.
to say what it is.
Right.
When the moon goes into its new phase, which means there's no moon, no one has ever been able to see it in less than 40 hours before it starts waxing again. So no one from the space station, which is, they can't do it because no one's there anyway. High altitude airplanes, top of mountains with telescopes, infrared telescopes. The moon isn't there. You think about this: the moon, on a full moon, when you're in the middle of nowhere, you can navigate and walk and read by the moon. It's so bright. It's,
Right.
it lights up the earth from
Mhm.
reflecting the sunlight. Well, when there's a new moon, if you were on the moon, excuse me, looking at the earth, you have a full earth, like a full moon. The
Right.
earth is 6 times bigger, much shinier than this dusty, dirty rock. It should be lighting up the moon 6 times more than the moon lights up the earth. Somebody would be able to see it. We don't see it because it's not there. There's no moon there, right? And the moon with the tides, how come a full moon makes a big high tide, but a new moon doesn't, when the moon is really supposed to still be there? It's just not lit up, okay? None of that makes sense. The tides have nothing to do with the moon's gravity, because there is
Right.
no gravity.
And I guess that's what a lot of my questions pertain to is above the sky, because I'm just thinking, because if it's some type of projection, that means it's been here for a long time. So whoever put it in place is some type of
Well,
um
so that's what, as I was
smarter
talking
being
about,
or something.
so that's what I was talking about before, man. Before I got into this, I'd be listening to podcasts about whatever topic, and as soon as they mentioned God, the Bible, the Quran,
Right.
anything,
Mm-hmm.
I'd tune them out. I'd rip up my
Right.
notes. I'd unsubscribe, and I'm off, because they're crazy religious fanatics
Right.
that have silly beliefs. And then when I discovered, all right, the heliocentric model is complete and total bullshit, and this flat Earth makes sense, then I realized the Earth is intelligently designed. It's created for us. We are at the center of creation. So it's an amazing place. It's made for us. There's for lack of a better word, a God that made it. So that's the, and it says in the Bible, again, I'm not the Bible
Mm-hmm.
guy. My
Right.
co-host Matt on the Flat Earth podcast is,
Right.
there's a passage in the Bible that says you will come to know, there's no denying God when you see his creation. Well, they're telling us it's a ball that we're spinning out of control, lost in space. That's not God's creation. And there's plenty of people that believe we live on a ball that believe in God. That's fine. But there's a huge majority of the people that don't believe in God. And they have an excuse because they don't see his creation. They're being deceived with the heliocentric soul lure system. They're fishing for our souls. They're trying to lure our souls away. Our job here on earth is to maintain control of our souls for this journey and not give it away, not let it be stolen from us. And many people are lost.
I mean, because for a little bit, it kind of sounds like what they may be having going on across the walls might be some type of religion. So it's like is there any religion that may tie like specifically, because I'm assuming it's not Christianity, like Jesus made the flat earth. So is there any religion that takes, you know what I'm saying, credit for something similar, you know what I'm saying, that you might have to decrypt, but it's similar?
So I'm not sure 100% what you're saying there, but Christianity, the Bible has over 200 verses that talk about a flat, unmovable earth. The Bible never uses the word sphere, never uses the word planet. Only in Isaiah does it say the circle of the earth. Well, the earth is a circle, okay? We live in a circular earth, and it's flat. So there's many religions. The Quran is a flat earth book. The Bible is a flat earth book. All of these religions, many of them have the same story about the son, the Son of God dying on the 25th, on the 21st of December, and then being reborn. Well, our sun in this heliocentric system dies on the 21st, and then 3 days it stays where it is, and then 3 days later it starts coming back in, like I was showing you, and it starts getting higher in the sky. So are they talking about that? Again, I'd like talking about the physical things, like we can see too far. We can see, if the earth is a ball 24,901 miles around, we shouldn't be able to see things like this oil rig. We can see the surface of the water for miles beyond the oil rig, but the surface of the water should be 50 some odd feet below the curve from where this camera is taking this picture. But not only can we see it, we can see water far beyond it. So that's impossible. We're not on a ball, because large bodies of water at rest lay flat. We can see too far. If I take if you look at this video of ships, we're zooming out, and that ship doesn't go over the horizon. It just gets too small to see.
And so the point of, so when somebody, so when you out on a ship, I don't know how it would be if you're on the water. So if you're on the water on the
watch
ship,
this. See this boat? See this boat and see this mountain? I'm just zooming out.
Right.
The boat's gone, and the mountain's going to go away too. But it's just because you can't see that far.
Right.
Our optics have outgrown their lies. So go ahead. And we think we see a curve when we're in an airplane, but we just see in a circle. We're also looking through a curved window, and our programming is telling us to see a ball, but we're just seeing.
No, I feel like I don't feel like I see a curve either, like when I'm on an airplane. So
you don't.
So, but are you familiar with the Red Bull guy, with the balloon guy?
Yeah. So Felix Baumgarten, he went up and he said he saw the curve of the earth, and this is what they showed us.
Yeah.
But
that's CGI.
No, that's not CGI. That's just a
fisheye
lens.
The globe.
Yeah, well, no, it's not CGI. The lens bends everything. So, but if we look at this and we look at all the landmarks, this is New Mexico. All of this land is New Mexico. And think about this. The earth is spinning to the east, okay? The earth is spinning. So he went up for 3.5 hours. The earth is spinning to the east, so he should have landed west out in the ocean, but he didn't. He landed east of where he took off from.
But wouldn't he be no sense. But wouldn't he be moving with the, well, I guess gravity is not real, so wouldn't he be moving
he landed ahead of where the earth was spinning to. He should have, he was up in space, the edge of space, where he should be up there for 3.5 hours. He should be like 3,000 miles to the west, but he landed to the east. None of that makes any sense. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, says that you cannot see the curve of the earth, even from 127,000 feet, which I think that was the height he was at. So,
So what's the curve we're seeing on the screen? That's art or something?
This is just a fisheye lens. When if the camera moved up, that would flatten out and would turn into a bowl.
So if you said if the camera wasn't fisheye, would it be as big as you can see?
No, it would just be flat. You would just see a flat plane. You would just see a flat plane like this. This is 120,000 feet, and that's with not a fisheye lens.
Okay. So, and are you familiar with what he came back and said he saw? If it was flat or if he could tell?
Yeah, so he came back and said, I saw the curve of the earth. I believe he was paid to say that. He was paid to say that. Or the fact that he had a helmet on that had curved glass, he would see a curve, and he might have actually believed it. He was up there. He's looking through a curved glass. He's going to see a curve. So either he's a liar or he was fooled. This is from 120 some odd thousand feet. And the sun is right there. That's not 93 million miles away. And the earth is flat and stationary.
Yeah.
I mean, your God-given senses, man, are telling you the truth, and you're believing a lifelong indoctrination. They're convincing us the earth is a ball before we could speak. They sit us down in front of Sesame Street, which is all ball programming. All of the cartoons, all of the movies, all of the television shows, all of our schooling. You go to school, they got Rockefeller-funded globes right in front of the school. You have a globe in your office right there? You have a globe in your house?
No.
If you do, next time you see a globe anywhere, in a store, at someone's house, pick it up and look at the bottom. There's a sticker on it that says, for educational purposes, for decorative purposes only, not educational purposes. Isn't that crazy?
So when somebody goes to school for astrology or something like that, no matter how high in that course they get, they will never know the truth. No matter how much learning, how much money they spend on learning, they're gonna be taught bullshit all because of this flat earth.
I took 4 years of astronomy in college and I was really good at it. I knew all of it and I believed it all, and it's all pseudoscience. I mean,
so I'm saying none of the
asked me to help them.
The equations they give y'all, just none of the shit just add up. So you be like, hey teacher, none of this makes sense. So it's just they got it all set up. So it's like just an answer for everything. You know what I'm saying?
So the equations start off with assumptions. They're like, they figured out how far the sun was by by Venus making a transit across the sun, and they assumed Venus was the size of the Earth. And so they did all their calculations based on that. So here's a mathematical equation for you. You have $1 million in the bank, and I'm going to give you 100% interest every day for 5 days. Okay.
How much money I got in the bank?
On day 2, you're going to have $2 million.
Right.
On day 4, you're going to have $4 million. I mean, day 3, you're going to have $4 million. Day 4, you're going to have $8 million. And day 5, you're going to have $16 million. Here's the question. You got $16 million in your bank, or is that just an equation? Man. I started off with an assumption.
Right.
Okay. And that's all of their equations start off with bullshit.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but it's feel like even if I was to go on the side of what you're saying, it's like once we go past the basketball rim, we are going on assumptions.
Absolutely. Well, but we can prove here underneath our feet, we can see too far. That's it. Water, large bodies of water at rest, lay flat. We've done it over frozen lakes in the north. Mirror tests, flashing the sun, laser tests, microwave tests. We've done it all, and all of them, even if the Earth was 1,000 times bigger than they're telling us, it still would have curvature, and we can see too far. We can see too far. So, how the sun works, does the moon look spherical to you?
At times.
Okay. Here's the moon. Are these spheres? Is this one a sphere?
That
one's a cup. How about this one? Is this one a sphere before she grabs it? Is that a sphere?
It kind of looks like it.
It kind of looks like a sphere, but watch this. Watch. Bam, it's flat. Okay. Is that one a sphere?
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, well, that's your smart guy. It's a bowl. All right. So what I'm saying is anything above our eyes, anything above our heads, we're speculating. We don't know how big they are, how far they are. Here's a shot of Arcturus, a star. Does that look like what NASA shows us?
No, none of this shit looks like space from what they like when they get into the Milky Ways and the galaxy. None of that shit looks like. And I know because I don't believe we went to the moon, because I just feel like if we went to the moon, we would have been back for the resources, all that shit, walk the bop like that. I just don't understand. I just feel like it'd be too many leaks because to pull off these fakes, these rover fakes that you send into Mars and shit. These have to be big ass studios with hundreds of people and hundreds of people keeping their mouth shut. And
look how stupid people are.
The fake.
Let me show you how stupid people are. This is a NASA photograph that the rover took. Look, you can tell it's a rover because it got part of its body in there, right? and this is Greenland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I believe.
It's the same photo. Look at the rock. Look at the rock. It's the same photo.
Exactly.
They just turned this one orange and said it's Mars. This has been leaked and nobody gives a shit.
Right. I believe that because there's similar things about the moon. But what my point is to pull the images off, it probably took at least let's say 50 people all together, cameramen, setup artists, all that. And it's to say all 50 of those people went home and didn't say nothing to their wife, kids, aunties, and nothing about how we just faked this shit at NASA. That's
dude. I'll explain how it works. This is like secret societies. You work your way up, and each step they've got you in a situation where you either have to do something and have it filmed that you never will allow to be shown, or when you get to these levels, you sign in blood, that you agree that they can do horrible things to you and your family, stuff that you can never ever whistleblow about. This is an incredible it's the control system. There's no way you're gonna get whistleblowers, but people like Buzz Aldrin, people have gone up to Buzz Aldrin. One guy I interviewed recently, he said he saw Buzz Aldrin at an event. He knows the moon landing was fake, and he goes to Buzz, he goes, I know you never went to the moon, man. He goes, why don't you admit it? And Buzz looked at him, patted him on the back. He goes, you're a smart kid. And he walked away.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are whistleblowers and, that have let out information. But again, pilots, when they admit the earth is flat, they get grounded. We interviewed a pilot on KLM Airlines. She was on our show, and the next day she was fired or grounded at least. There's many pilots that have spoken out. We've interviewed them on the app. If you hit the question mark and say, what about pilots? A lot of the interviews are there. Pilots speaking out. Some of them anonymously. Some of them, you can figure out who they are.
How long have you been doing this?
Station. Look, I'm on the space station.
All right.
I'm floating. This is the crap that they show us.
Right?
And if I had a harness on with green wires, I could do a flip.
Right.
It's nonsense.
So how long have you been doing this?
6 years.
Exposing the truth. And at any point in this 6 years, have you ever felt like you've got that proverbial tap on the back, like, hey, you might want to, like, if a man in a black suit just showed up, like, hey, you might want to find a different hobby or anything.
I always wonder, like, one day if they came to me and goes, listen, we're going to move you to a tropical island. We're going to give you all the money that you need, beautiful house, new kites to go kite surfing with, a boat, you can have your own gardens, everything. Man, I hope that never happens, because that's going to be a hard no to say.
Just give us the camera.
I'm like, oh, man. But at some point,
that's like my next thing, because I feel like people like you and the Bob Lazar guy, it'd be like, all right, now, even though they do what they can to suppress your videos online and stuff, you can still create some type of following. Like Bob Lazar made it all the way to Netflix. And if you can open and search that, that's a pretty good audience. So I just feel like you will be somebody that they will need to stop, because with 2020 and 2021 coming, it's like technology's getting more. No matter how hard they try to suppress you, just with these type of outlets, the word's gonna get out more. So you'll never feel like your life is in danger or anything.
Dude, no, I'm not worried about that at all. We made it to Netflix. We did a show, and Netflix bought the show and re-edited it and made it look like we're hiding proof of the ball. And it's a total deception. If people watch Behind the Curve on Netflix, they totally misrepresent what was done. We did these experiments, and we had ball believers and flat earth believers at the experiment, and everybody walked away going, it didn't prove anything. Absolutely didn't prove anything. If anything, it proved the earth is flat, but everyone walked away saying it didn't prove anything, and they edited it to make it look like it proved the globe. Okay. It's just this deception beyond belief.
All right. I feel you, man. You definitely got a lot of compelling arguments. It's just that if I had more, I feel like I don't have enough as far as, like I said, over the basketball rim and over the gate, over the ice wall. If I can feel like, because over the ice wall, we had just like a glimpse, like we've never seen, like it was nobody ever took a quick image of, like, even I got in something I have to do some more research, but I got to see like the 200-foot walls. So the 200-foot walls is as long east and west as you can see.
Dude, there's videos. I got a video. It's called "How to Jump Off the Flat Earth." It has video and hundreds of pictures of the ice wall. If you just Google, excuse me, if you just Google Antarctic ice wall, there's millions of pictures of it. It's not a theory, but it's not a wall like Game of Thrones. It's just the shoreline that's higher than the water, and then it goes on. So on one side it looks like a wall, but it's really a cliff.
But 200 feet, you'll be able to
fly from. I want to fly from Santiago to Australia. That's a straight line is the quickest route. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay.
But you're not allowed to fly over Antarctica. So what about if we just went around and stayed at this, 60 degrees south or whatever it is?
You should be able to see what's on the inside.
You should be able to take that short little flight route, right? But that's not what they do. This is the flight route that they take. They go all the way up here. They go all the way across. Sometimes they go all the way over here, and then they go all the way down. Okay.
If you was to take that second flight route, would you be able to see over the walls?
But look, this is the route this is the same route on a flat Earth. It's a straight line. Okay. And if I went all the way over to Dubai, it's still a straight line. This is a straight line. And this is what they tell us they're doing. Now, there are flights that go from here all the way around here and all the way over. But those are done certain times with special planes that can go faster than the average plane. They go up 40, 45,000 feet where there's a tailwind of like 200 mile an hour tailwind. Add that to a plane that's going 600, 700 miles an hour. The times make perfect sense.
All right, man. And before we get you out of here, is there anything that we can see as far as what's under? Because I just had me and my sister did a conspiracy podcast, and she believes that nobody's been to the bottom of the ocean and there's probably alien life there. So according to what you're telling me, with the puddle design, it'd have to be some sort of plateau. So is that true? Is it heat, molten lava under there, or is that something else as well?
Well, there's lava, but it's not coming from the center of the Earth. So the deepest hole ever dug is the Great Borehole in Russia, and they got just short of 8 miles, and they hit an impenetrable barrier. They couldn't drill through it. They couldn't blow it up. They couldn't do anything. They tried for years, and that's as deep as it can go. An impenetrable barrier. Like, what are they hitting? And on the flat Earth model, we believe that there's a dome over us that's also impenetrable. Hillary Clinton, when she lost the presidency, she said, we're cracking that glass ceiling. We're going to get through it one day. These are the elite trying to break into heaven, I believe. So if heaven's above, perhaps hell is below. Maybe there's other realms below us. I don't know, but it makes a lot more sense on a flat Earth than a spinning ball.
At least talk about going to space too, though. Donald Trump has.
Well, no one's gone to space, dude. So let me show you. Let me show you a quick thing. You ever watch any NASA rockets? They go up, they curve over, and they go right out and crash in the ocean. Every single one of them. But this was a rocket that took off in New Mexico, Arizona, and it went up 70 miles. And then all of a sudden it went kerplunk, like dropping a rock into water. We just heard a kerplunk. It stopped spinning and it started floating in this thick, viscous, medium. Not sure what it is. Maybe it's just frozen gases. Who knows? But when it turns on its side, all of a sudden you're going to see the moon come right up over here. So here comes the moon. I'm going to slow it down right there. That's the moon. You with me? All right. The moon at that time was over Australia. So for you to see it, you'd have to look through the Earth to see it. But we saw the moon from Arizona when it's over Australia. That tells you that the Earth is flat and the moon is above the flat Earth. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, man. I definitely got to do a little research, man. Get down my pen and pad and get you back, and possibly with your co-host, so we can do a little bit with the Bible part of it.
Absolutely. I just did it. We just did one together just before this. It was great. We could definitely schedule that. But look at this. You got clouds going into the distance, and they keep getting closer to being smushed into the line of convergence, right? And as the sun goes past the cloud, it sets from the bottom up. It sets from the bottom, and it just goes beyond this horizon, which is really a false horizon. The sun just goes beyond it. Like if this is the horizon and this is the sun above your eye level, as I go away, sets.
It would freeze.
And that's why the sun looks like it sets when it goes away over the flat Earth. It's really simple. And then you're like, well, how is it dark? You know, here's a balloon we set up, and this is light over here as the sun is approaching, and it's nighttime over here behind me. Okay, light next to dark. Light doesn't travel forever. One more video I'm going to show you, and then we can wrap it up. But on a super clear day, I put my drone up in the sky, and this is super zoomed in, so it's a little blurry. And the sun was up here, and in 5 minutes, it just went down, 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 right to the horizon, and then it stopped. It stopped going down, and it sat here for 10 minutes. Okay, it stopped going down. That says we're not moving. Now this is sped up at like 2,500%. It just sat there, and then it just faded away into the thickness. Watch. This is a super clear day. Boom. The sun's light can no longer push through, right? Here's again. It just fades away. This isn't the land here. This is the clouds and the land all being pushed together. The sun is just going away, and the atmosphere wasn't thick enough to create an opaque horizon, so it just disappeared. Now, my friends at the beach said they saw the sun set bottom up 10 minutes earlier. Okay? So, again, it's all about perception and perspective, and then the way our eyes work.
Man, well, I definitely appreciate the time, man. And to be honest, like I said, I fell into this rabbit hole a while ago, and I believe the Earth was flat for about a week, and then I fell up off it. But you definitely gonna have me going back and double checking a few things and looking at a couple things. I can't lie.
If you Google flat Earth, you will give up on flat Earth because you will get complete and total garbage. The best way is to get my app. Hey, and anyone that has an iPhone, you can get the app. If you have an Android and you can't afford the app, or you're on your parents' account or whatever it is, you can email me, info@theflatearthpodcast.com, and I'll give you a free download. All right. I want you to have the app and take the challenge and see what happens, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it does make a difference in your life. It changes everything. It changes everything. So I like to end with a quote from another flat earther, Nathan Thompson, which is, you can lead a man to flat water, but you can't make him think critically about the shape of the earth.
All right, man. Appreciate you for coming out, man. Take it easy.
All right, man. Send me a link when it's up, and I'll share it around.
All right, no problem. Thanks.
Thanks.